don't need to be on the camera. Alright guys, this may look a little ridiculous because it's just a last minute situation where I had to put a fence around here just to keep the deer out. Just some blackberries that I don't have too much time to take care of, hardly ever, but I just noticed this morning that there was quite a few berries ready to go and I haven't really looked at them. There's some on the ground here, but so I'm going to try and pick a few. I've got to prune a little bit too. When you prune these new canes, it kind of makes the rest of the culm or shoot actually branch out and have a little bit better crop for the next year or following year. So I'll be doing that while I'm in here too. And cleaning up some of this other, I've got some trumpet vine in here. We used to have a big one growing right in this area, and so it keeps sending up shooters all the time. You gotta clean up here for probably a year or two until it kind of dies out. So I always got to deal with that. Well, let me go ahead and try picking a few of these while got some pretty big ones in there too. Usually I just kind of gently pull, and if they don't come off like, or like fall off basically, I'm not going to pick them. These stay kind of, well, I wouldn't say real tart, but they aren't like really sweet until they're actually to the point where they fall off the vine. So I just gently pull on them. Alright, let me move around here. There's some big ones in here. And maybe they need to go another day or so, I don't know. They look like they're ready, but you start eating them, you'll definitely tell the difference. Just a couple days can make the world. Wow. Look at all these up here. This is pretty loaded up in here. This one's big. Looks like the birds are kind of getting to a few of them, but not too bad. I was going to try and put a net over the whole thing, but again, it's just a matter of priorities and time. The time is not always available to do what you need to do, but yeah, tomorrow I'll have to come out here and in the morning just kind of double check everything and pick whatever I can off here. Let's move around to the other side here. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, pruning these is a fairly good thing to do. Like I said, it promotes a lot of the lateral branches coming off the main shoot. So once I trim this down, what's going to happen is these side branches, there's even some, well, a lot of people call them like suckers. When you're dealing with like tomato plants or something like that, you got suckers in here, and these will actually start branching out. So next year you'll actually have a little bit fuller culm sticking out there. And these big branches like this that are really thick, they produce the biggest blackberries. So you kind of pay attention to them primarily. Let's see. I trim some of the dead stuff out too. Probably wouldn't hurt to spray these too. Just cleaning up some of the vines. Just looking under here. Well, these aren't ready, but I'll let them go another day or two, but those look nice. And I don't even really take care of this like I should. If I was in here pruning and taking care of it, it would look a lot better yet. But the situation is, like I said, there was actually a big trumpet vine actually where I'm standing here right now, and it was probably 12-15 foot high. We tore it out not even like a month and a half ago, but again, it leaves all these roots coming up. Volunteer that it's actually shoot up all over in the mulch here, so I gotta constantly pick them out whenever I get a chance, otherwise they kind of take over the area. But end game this fall, we've got I've got a couple plants that are sitting in pots right now, and I'm gonna probably put a fence around this whole area. I'm gonna have probably about 6 plants or so, and it's gonna be just a nice little, probably about a 30 by 50 area where I'll just have berries here. Blackberries, I've got some raspberry bushes too, or raspberries that I'll probably transplant over here. So it's just gonna be a little berry patch basically, but the biggest thing is I gotta fence it all off. That's the biggest project. I've got to have that deer proof basically, because those deer will get in here and they'll they'll eat everything off. That's why I have this netting over here. Just a thin poly type netting, too thin really, but it's probably good enough to keep the birds out. But the deer kind of stay away from it though. They don't mess with it. In the fall they will. They'll get their horns wrapped up in here and tear it all up in the fall, but for now it'll keep them away. But hopefully by next spring, and you guys will kind of see this progress, because by next spring we'll have a pretty decent little layout. And I'll probably try and get that fence in this fall, like I said, and it'll look pretty decent. We got most of spread around now, as you can see. As you pan around, I got truckloads coming in here at least a couple times a week, so got a long ways to go because the garden is expanding. Next year it'll be doubled in size, and there's going to be a lot going on there. The bamboo is actually getting bigger every year too, so that's going to be taking over the yard. That'll fill in the next year or so also. Got there's 10 main varieties right here in this area, and one of these days I'll kind of walk around and talk about those varieties. And they're all fairly young. They've only been in my longest ones. I've got 3 of them that have been in the ground about 4 years. Yeah, going on the 4th year. And the other ones have just been in the ground a couple years. So they've actually done probably more than I expected, probably in 2 years. A lot of them have had like a really nice big radius as far as like spread out. The rhizomes actually went. Of course I do baby them quite a bit. You can see that I put a lot of straw, wood chips, whatever I can find around them to kind of get started off. I keep those moisture levels, especially when like last year we had a lot of drought, and so I kind of stayed up on watering a little bit, probably more than I really had to, but I just want to make sure that those bamboo plants and the rhizomes are actually doing as well as they can be and spreading out as fast as they can. So I guess I didn't have like a huge crop this morning, but those are the first ones of the year anyway, so day by day we'll be getting a little more. It isn't like a huge grouping of berries, but it's enough to get a nice taste for them. I said this is anything but ideal, but like I said, it's just kind of temporary until I get more of a permanent fencing up. I just put this up in the air, kind of zip tie it in. There. All right, guys, and a few I gotta go plant a cherry tree right now. I've actually got a hole already in the ground that I actually dug out last night, and I just pretty much have to put it in the ground and get it out of the pot and get it in the ground, and oh, of course, put a fence around it because of deer. Everything, all trees that I plant around here has to have like some sort of cage around it. Otherwise, the deer will, especially in the fall, they'll actually use their horns and they'll rub all the bark and stuff off the tree and they'll kill them. So it's very important that I get those cages around them when I put anything out in the yard. Luckily I've got my gardens all completely closed off now. I've got an 8-foot high deer fencing. It's like an elk and deer fencing. I've been very happy with that. That came from Critter Fence. Good product. I actually put it up in one day. Basically, I had quite a few. I actually went and got 10-foot posts, which aren't easy to find, 10-foot T-posts, and I put those all in kind of one day, and then I put the fencing up probably in a couple hours. And for the most part, it's still kind of draped up. I don't have it like attached permanently because I have to move some mulch around to kind of get it down even on the ground anyway, and I haven't really had time to do that. So right now it's just hanging up there, kind of tacked up with zip ties, but it does, it actually does the job though. Keeps the deer out. I haven't had any problems with deer getting in there, so, and they shouldn't. It's like I think it has like a 900 or 1,000 pound like tensile strength rating on there, so shouldn't have. Actually, the deer are kind of small in this area compared to in the wild. These are in a suburb area basically. We live in the south part of downtown Omaha, and for the most part, like I said, those deer are fairly small. I don't even know what they would actually weigh, but it seems like they're almost like half or 3/4 of the size of a wild whitetail or something like that. But anyway, it's kind of nice to see them around. At the same time though, they've done a lot of damage to a lot of our stuff, the trees, even the bamboo. They keep knocking those off in the spring, and they don't even really eat it. They do it just to irritate the heck out of me, and they'll like go up there and nip it and break it off, and as many people know, bamboo, once it actually gets up to a certain height, if you break it off, that's the height it gets to. It doesn't get any higher than that once you break it off. So yeah, that's not cool. I get so tired of that, and so ergo I have some cages even around some of my bamboo, just to make sure some of the bigger culms, when they come up, they're not going to get knocked over or disturbed by the deer. So today, well, let me get that cherry tree. Got to go get that loaded in a wheelbarrow and get that up to the hill. Maybe we'll record some of that quick, just putting that cherry tree in the ground. I think that's a Bing cherry, yeah, B-I-N-G, Bing cherry. We're gonna see how that does here, which it's fine in the zone anyway, so should be just fine. I got a lot of fruit trees that I've been bringing in this year. I probably had like 30 of them actually, and I've still got quite a few in pots, so a lot to do yet this fall. I'm gonna try and get them all on the ground, but again, it's just a matter of time and what I have available. And anything that I go outside of my fenced-in garden area, I've got to put fences around. So I was going to try one of these berries here quick and let you guys know. Let me see if one of them, I'll try that one. Yeah, those are pretty good. Like I said, the biggest thing is wait until they're like, and you can kind of tell when you pick them up, they're kind of soft. Those little, I don't know what they're called actually, the little pieces that are around the core. You can feel them when they're actually kind of soft. They actually feel kind of like juicy, kind of soft, and it's going to be pretty good at that point. You want to try one? Here, eat it. That one's not too bad.
It's good.
Yeah, some of them may need to, wait just a little bit. I was kind of picking them a little bit early, but I still wanted to just show the bushes and what they look like and how we pick these berries. But yeah, that one's pretty good too. Yeah, very juicy, sweet. Good little berry though. Some of these have actually gotten really big. I mean, we've had some a lot bigger than that. That's actually pretty good size, but I picked some last year that were probably I don't know, not quite double the size of this, but they were big. So we'll see. Another year or two, I'll kind of jump on it and pay more attention to them and take care of them a little bit better and see if we can't get some bigger berries on these, and so we'll go from there. Later, guys.